Hello, folks. We are live.
You are
with
too.
the
Hopefully.
passive accredited investor show. So we are going to talk about some of the highlights that we got from our most recent mastermind groups. I know you guys love that stuff. So we'll have more of that right after this. Thank you again for joining us on the Passive Accredited Investor Show. We are Carolina Capital Management, and we are lenders in the Southeast for real estate investors. If you want to borrow money, go to carolinahardmoney.com, click on the Apply Now tab. If you're a passive investor looking for passive returns, go to the Accredited Investor tab. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, and don't forget to sign up for Wednesdays with Wendy. Wendy does a wonderful job of giving back to the investor community. She gives up 30 minutes of her time per person on Wednesdays. There's the link to get on her calendar. She's booked up a couple of months in advance typically. So she will talk to you about anything real estate related. I would ask her about short-term rentals since no one knows anything about that.
That's my side gig. So actually, I just checked it before we came in here. January 12th has some openings left.
January 12th.
Anything particular? Is that a national something day?
It's a National Talk to Wendy today.
Today is National Men Make Dinner Day, but we're not going to talk about food.
I feel like they're reaching with that one.
Yeah.
Let's talk about food.
Well, I'd love for men to make dinner. We were talking about that, and I thought that was really interesting. You said you love to cook because you like the start and the finish, right?
Yeah. I like to. So often with a lot of what we do, it takes, days, weeks, months, whatever the case may be, for things to come to fruition. And then in the kitchen, I can do it in just a couple hours or less.
That's right.
Man, feels good.
That's
A couple
right.
of hours.
Well, he's a Mr. Chef.
I'm not a baker. I do love to cook, mainly with fire.
Your wife's a good baker, though.
Yes, she is.
My husband is a great cook when I can get him to get in the kitchen and do it. He's a great cook. He makes a terrible mess when he does. So I know I'm up for cleaning.
I love cooking. I hate doing dishes.
Yeah, well,
That
I'll do my part. I don't mind.
So if it were up to me, everyone would have plastic forks and paper plates.
Have you been to my house?
Oh, man.
So we were all three of us were recently at a couple of different masterminds. Wendy went to
the Power Room.
It's out in
Salt Lake
most of the time,
but
it is on the West Coast most of the time. And then Jonathan and I were at most recent Freedom Founders, and we thought we would highlight some of the stuff that actually were highlights for us.
Right.
So Wendy, you want to kind of let everybody know what the Power Room is as a mastermind?
Right. So Eddie Wilson is probably the one that I know the most. That's one of the facilitators / leaders that got it up and running. Andrew Cordell is another that runs the show. He has a great podcast too called Money Is. Really good stuff.
He's a little into tennis shoes.
Oh, he's very much so funny because Eddie walks in, he's in his 3-piece suit. He's, Mr. Businessman of the century, and smart as a whip and as humble as American Pie. That guy, I just love him to death. He's a really cool guy. And then Andrew comes in, love him to death too, but he comes in and he is, got 400 pairs of tennis shoes and he's just dressed to the nines. Like, he just got out of a rapping studio in LA.
Oh
and
man.
it's so funny that the two of them are so opposite and the way that they look. Both of them are incredibly smart. There's some other people that are involved in it as well. Aaron Chapman, who is probably the best mortgage broker in the nation. It's amazing what that guy does.
investors,
Extremely raw in his presentation. I mean, this guy has a beard that's braided and comes down to here. It's really
Yeah, he's been a guest on our show.
yeah, and he's a great guy. My goodness, he is just amazing with what he does. He has a good podcast too that he's doing. But the room was made up of not only real estate investors, but some tech investors, startup tech investors, stuff that we don't usually get to touch or learn about or see.
Blockchain folks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was it opened my eyes to a lot. I like what I know. I like hanging in with what I know, investing in what I know. I know real estate, and I feel safe there. And they made me personally start to think outside the box with the blockchain and some of the new startup small app, phone app companies and things like that, and the way that it works. I had to explain it to me what blockchain even was, and I still couldn't tell you. I just know it has a lot to do with a bunch of computers all working on one thing. So it's really hard for you to get hacked into because there's a multitude of computers that have one little piece. So nobody can go in and take one.
I think it's the future of title work.
I think it's the future of a lot of things.
Yeah.
And that's, but because of what it does, I mean, it's really, it's making a difference in the way that we will do business in the future. There's no doubt about it. But, listening to them talk made me not so fearful of the unknown for me because I've always been kind of afraid of anything other than real estate because I know real estate.
Yeah.
So that was really, really, really interesting. And there were people in there in that room that, I met this guy that does nothing but Facebook leads. He shows you how to market on Facebook to get leads. And he's really successful in what he's been able to do marketing for other people. It was a very different group of people, very professional, small group too. I mean, there were probably maybe 55, 60 people in the whole event, which was nice.
Yeah, you can get to know everybody.
Yeah, because the ones we're going to now are so big, it's kind of hard to get to know everybody. They started out small, but they ended up growing so much because they're so good. So it was really, really good. And I'm even going to the next one, which is in Las Vegas. I hate Las Vegas. I hate that town. I hate it. And I'm going just because I want to go to that group. So I'll have to work my way through it and go to the next one.
When I was at Power Room, the previous meeting, a lot of the guest speakers were YouTube influencers,
very much,
and they were in different aspects of what they were doing. One guy was a kind of a motivational personal trainer. There was another one that, and I can't remember what his YouTube channel was about because I was so focused on the fact that he has all these sponsors and he's selling products on there. Once you get to a certain level of subscribers and views on your YouTube channel, all of a sudden people want you to advertise their stuff.
Right.
And they pay you a buttload of money to do it.
How much?
A buttload. So for me with Freedom Founders, and I'm kind of dovetailing into this or segueing as it were, what got to me or what stood out to me the most was finding ways of disrupting your industry. And blockchain is one of those disruptors for the real estate industry. Zillow was a disruptor.
Now they're disrupted right out of business.
For the real estate industry. And then, so there was a speaker, his name was Stuart. Hate getting old. I can't remember Stewart's last name. However, he's a real estate guy, in Texas, but he has offices all over the country. And what they're focusing on is not necessarily the asset, meaning the house. They're focusing in on the transaction, making money on all parts of the transaction.
You mean as the real estate agent, as the title company,
as all those
the
things,
insurance provider,
and doing it
all
with
online?
No interact, like all online, no face-to-face interaction.
Yes.
They said,
how
what
do
they
you keep that identity straight?
What the thing about it is, you can use DocuSign and different types of e-sign stuff. You use the blockchain,
Zoom notaries,
Yeah.
all that stuff. But they said, what was it? Sometime in December they were going to be 100% everything online.
Yeah, they sell,
That's
buy
amazing.
and sell thousands of houses. They never actually personally meet anybody. They never go to any
you can
closing.
sign a deed online. I don't think all states allow that to be able to.
Whatever states they're in, they're able to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, so on a Zoom notary, like, or just, I'm not plugging Zoom. It's just whatever way you look at people live.
Right.
But yeah, you can get it notarized. I mean, we're closing a loan tomorrow, and that's exactly how they're doing it. They're signing the deed of trust. Everything is done
in front of a Zoom.
In front of a Zoom notary.
Wow. Interesting.
Well, again, they're focusing more on the transaction than they are on the actual asset. So there's a way to make money in this business without actually owning, buying, or selling a piece of property.
Just being the person who conducts the transaction.
Just being that third party that coordinates the transaction.
With it, being, was it men cooking dinner day or something? They're handling the transaction soup to nuts, as it were.
That was good.
Job.
That was good. I'm impressed.
So you need to think of ways in your everyday businesses of ways that you could change your industry, disrupt that industry.
And you got to really think outside the box about that.
And one of the ways to do that is to be in mastermind groups where you can get ideas from other people outside of that.
That's right.
Most of your, big giant companies are internet type companies like a Zillow.
Yeah.
It was just an idea.
Well, I was going to say, one of the best ways you can disrupt your industry, let's just say it's real estate, you can go and pay more for a house than it's worth, and then everyone else is bidding on it, and you can really disrupt the industry. But that's probably an original idea. Probably no one's done that.
Then you can get stuck with it and sell it at a loss, fire 1/4 of your
2,000 employees.
And go, oops, did I do that? We're discussing Zillow if you don't already get that.
It's not hurting them much. They had tons of cash that were available. What I find disrupting is that websites like Zillow and Realtor.com and Redfin, none of those would even exist if it wasn't for the National Association of Realtors, and that's allowing them to get access to all their multiple listings,
exactly
which,
right.
by the way, all the realtors have to pay monthly dues to have access to it, and they're selling it to these people that are turning out to be realtors themselves and taking the business from them.
That's right. That's right.
I just don't get it.
Not a smart way to go.
Well, I mean, we talked about the blockchain and that, but I mean, I think as it's moving forward, it's already happening. We're seeing how the whole transaction from finding, acquiring, closing, and servicing everything in real estate can be done online and utilize, and utilizing blockchain technology, like we said. You can use it for title companies or essentially as the escrow. Things get uploaded from one party side, money gets wired from another party side. When all the boxes are checked, it switches.
Yeah, that's the beauty of blockchain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting the way that it's set up, and the more people that are in the blockchain, the more safe it is,
Sure.
apparently. And they are even, this is what I learned that I thought was really cool. All these games on your phone. There's a bank called Chime now that's
Yeah.
like PayPal and that kind of
Mhm.
thing. There's some others that he mentioned too. So one of the guys that was speaking is like the king of blockchain.
Yeah.
And he's taking all of these phone apps and introducing them to blockchain, but they're paying kids to play games on the phone. Like
Mhm.
when you get in there and play, you can earn money from that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
crazy.
real money.
Yeah.
So it's, just like the government paying people to take the vaccine.
I was where was I? I was somewhere, and it was like, where was I talking to you? But anyway, they were saying like, yeah, if you want to get your antibody tested to see if you have antibodies, that's now $200 and some to get that tested. I was like, oh wow, you have to pay $200 to see if you have the antibodies, but they'll pay you
to
get
take the vaccine.
Like, that's interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But it's the more people that are on there, the safer it is. So they're paying people now to, even kids, and they've got, you've probably seen the new banking system that's online that's for kids, that's teaching kids how to save and that kind of thing. All of that's wrapped up in that blockchain.
Well, and two things. Saving money at a bank only benefits one party, and it's not you. So I am not save
not
money
currently.
Yeah.
save money, sure, but like investing money, building your wealth is the way to do it. Like just locking your money up at a bank that is giving you 0.25% interest
if that
on
much.
it, while they're taking your money and lending it out and arbitraging a massive difference between the two. It only benefits the bank. It
That's
doesn't
right.
benefit you.
That's right.
The second piece is I really want someone to get on here and explain to me, like, I love blockchain. Blockchain is like fantastic. What I can't understand is all these people who are saying like cryptocurrency is going to be the next, or is the next step. Because I'm like, man, because what are you basing it on? Like, what is the underlying value? The collective agreement of everyone
whatever everybody says it is,
on
right?
its value,
Yeah.
which is interesting because I don't know. I mean, is it putting the value of currency in the hands of the people instead of backing it with gold or silver or whatever precious things that we typically back
We used
currencies
to.
with? Well, we've fractionalized the backing of it for sure, but it's still at some level backed by something.
Well, governments hate it because they can't control it.
Well, they hate it, but I mean, like central banks, I can't imagine that they would ever go for that.
Well, there's attorneys now that will do a closing with crypto.
Yeah.
There are attorneys out there that'll do that. The other thing is you got to be careful about which cryptocurrency you're using. There's so many. Anybody can invent one. What about this squid person?
They scam people for like $2 million.
Yeah.
3.2.
Is it
wasn't
3
it?
point? Oh, I don't know what it was.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was over 3 million. So what takeaway did you get from Freedom Founders? Anything different than I got?
Kind of the same thing. It's, how do you said disruptor, and and I think the way I like to, like, how do you stand out or get a leg up in a market that is so easily diluted by huge players?
Mhm.
Right.
So how do you differentiate yourself or what you're doing or create that niche, if that's how you say it, whatever. How do you do that?
Yeah.
And being at these masterminds, learning from people who have tried different things, succeeded, failed, all those, like that, that's a huge piece of it.
And that's what you want to do, is you want to be in the room with people that have failed, right?
Oh, every person in that room has failed.
Yeah, that's
Every
right.
single person.
That's right.
Like, I would not pay to go to a room full of people who have never failed.
Because they're not doing something right.
Well, either
Not taking
they're
enough risks.
That's
scamming
right.
everyone, they're not taking enough
or they're
risk.
lying.
Yeah, it's like, it's just like, that's what we talk about all the time when when we're lending, we want a very small level of defaults, because that lets us know that we're lending
At the proper
at
risk.
the proper risk
That's
level
right.
We're
for
leaving
what
money
we're
on the
doing.
table if we don't.
That's
Exactly.
exactly right.
So you want to, there has to be some failure. If there's no failure, there's never success.
That's exactly
you
right.
can't have one
Ask
without the
Babe
other.
Ruth, right?
Mm.
Babe Ruth.
Babe
Can't even
Ruth.
Speak.
Well,
Can't even speak.
we have these little. What's interesting is we have these little hot seats that are.
Mhm.
The Freedom Founders Mastermind is full of a bunch of dentists, orthodontists,
Mhm.
private practice
Mhm.
physicians, and then people in the real estate business. And we typically gather on one day with about, I don't know, 5 to 6 of us at a table. And, we try to figure out what's holding you back right now.
Mhm.
And then, so each person will go around the room, what's holding you back now? And then we'll discuss it and see if we can offer any assistance. And what's interesting is the same thing that's holding a dentist back is the same thing that's holding us back.
Yeah. We all have the same problems. It's just in a different industry.
Yeah,
For sure. My favorite mastermind that I've ever been to was the Trusted Advisor Mastermind that Freedom Founders did for those of us that are in that Trusted Advisor group. And that was in January of 2020. And he put a newspaper down in front of us. If this was your company, and this newspaper showed up in the morning saying that, you've just lost 50% of your business, what are you going to do?
Mhm.
We had to come up with how we were going to communicate to our customers, our clients. Who would we keep? Who would we let go? Would we hoard our cash? What kind of loans would we do? How would we change our programs? What are all the different changes that we would make?
Yeah.
And then 2 months later, what happened?
Yeah. Well, and they didn't have a crystal ball. They didn't know what was going
No.
to happen. The thing was, we had been in such a long bull market that
They
it was
knew something was
like,
coming.
hey, at some point things are going to change. So let's put together a plan when things do change.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be extremely timely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was something else, because when COVID hit and everybody got shut down overnight, pretty much, we were like cool as cucumbers.
Yeah.
We really were. We were like, hey, we got a plan.
We never went a month without lending.
That's right.
Nope.
That's right. And we went by our plan too. We did the things on our plan that we said we would do. And it
She tried to fire me.
wouldn't do that.
All right. We have 5 minutes left.
Okay.
And the actual theme of our show was women, typically, because this is still all about Women Month. Women typically in the household are the ones that handle the finances, but very few of them are the ones that are doing the investing.
Yeah.
When it comes to retirement planning.
What have to know the metrics? Are the women who are handling the financials, are they primarily?
I don't have all the details, Jonathan.
Well, I will say this.
I'm just asking, why do we think that is?
There are a lot of female widowed investors out there that do very well.
No,
Accredited
I agree.
investors that do very well. And, we were trying to figure out why.
But you know what I think it is?
What?
I think that most people.
Asked to speak to the husband.
But I was going to say, most people just leave the decision making of investing to their stockbroker or their
That's true.
That's a good
financial manager.
That's a good point.
And it's like, not that women don't play golf, but it's like, oh, honey, did you go play golf with the financial manager? How are we doing? We're doing great.
Yeah.
It's I think maybe perhaps it's the husband's taking care of it, but is he?
Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah. Well,
he's not doing
if he's
anything.
smart, he's asking his wife what needs to be done.
That's very true. Yeah.
I can tell you right now, when I have an appointment with somebody that wants to invest in our fund,
Mhm.
I want both spouses on the phone
Right.
at the same time.
Right. Because
Yeah.
the wife always has questions.
They are typically the most detailed, and
Yes.
they ask the most detailed questions.
Mhm.
And again, this is not a stereotype, but it generally men tend to be big picture people, and women tend to be more detailed. It's just the way it is.
Mhm.
And there's a different level of risk tolerance too for for everyone. Where typically I would say men have more of a predisposition to be risk takers than women do. But I know a lot of women who are
Well,
risk
that's
takers.
my household.
Yeah, you're
my
a risk
husband's
taker.
the security guy.
Yeah.
He likes
It's balance, right? You got to have one or the other. Like,
yeah.
But to speak to having the both spouses on the phone, one of the things that impressed my wife the most was when we were talking about me joining you all here.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that you asked was, "Hey, can you and your wife join us on the phone call?" And so it's a very
we really knew who was making that decision.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's the way that we like to do things here, and the way you all have always done things.
Yeah.
We want to involve those, but when everyone is in lockstep, when the spouses are in lockstep, whether it's investing or new businesses or whatever the case may be, being in lockstep is a much better place to be.
Yeah, life is much easier, folks. So if you're not doing that, pick it up.
Oh, look, we're at the bottom of the hour.
That's right.
Listen, it's been some great content, I think.
Of course you do.
You guys may not think so. But,
Well, why did you
we liked it.
Why did you think women weren't investing?
A lot of the reasons that you say, it's just no, seriously.
What you said.
Yeah. I don't want to
He's
repeat
like,
anything.
I don't want to get in hot water here.
I think we're out of time. I'm sorry. This thing is not working. All right, folks. I am
Bill Fairman
getting ready to leave and drive my boat down to Florida. Yay.
Yeah, he's so excited. I'm
Yes,
happy
I
for
am.
you.
Unfortunately, I picked a rainy day to haul the boat.
That's good.
You
Yeah,
would
Florida.
find a way to really
Damper it.
complain
About
about
having a boat
having
in
a
the first
boat
place.
and a truck and then driving it down to your place in Florida.
Florida.
That's not your primary home.
That's right.
Man, you
Poor
really-
Bill.
Yeah, I feel bad for you, man.
So I'll get over it eventually. You guys have a great week. We'll talk to you on Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us on the Passive Accredited Investors Show. We are Carolina Capital Management, and we are lenders in the Southeast for Carolina.
Yeah.
For anyone in the Southeast
That's right.
But Carolina's too.
that are real estate investors. If you are interested in borrowing money, go to carolinahardmoney.com. Click on the Apply Now tab. If you're a passive investor looking for passive returns, click on the Accredited Investor tab. Stop laughing at me.
I was just thinking, if your name is Caroline,
We'll
then we'll give you a
lend
discount. We'll give you a little discount.
That's
So.
right.
And thank you, Sharub. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell. And don't
And-
forget to sign up for Wednesdays with Wendy.
I'm going to the North Carolina Association for Self-Storage Facilities.
Self-directed
week.
storage facility.
No self-storage. So I'll be able to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. So Wendy will bring back some highlights
That's
on
right.
why people
Need to
want
be.
to put $500 worth of stuff in a locker for 5 years, paying $200 a month.
That's right. You too can join.
Y'all have a
Thanks.
great week. See you later.